Hi everyone, this is Kassie, and these are the weekly tarot horoscopes for the week of May the 30th to June the 5th. If you haven't watched last week's predictions yet, you can do so by clicking the link above. If you enjoy my videos, make sure you subscribe, like and share, and also push the notifications bell so that you don't miss anything that comes up. If you want a personal tarot session with me, you can find me on my online platform www.kassikai.com, where you will also receive 3 free minutes with your subscription. Today we are going to use the Alchemical Tarot deck, a deck heavy with tarot, alchemical and astrological symbolism. But let's get on with the predictions. For Aries we had the 5 of Wands and now it's the Emperor. That's a lot of fire energy, so this will be a busy week again, with past developments, and the Emperor means that you are coming closer to a completion of a matter. The Emperor is structure and it's associated with the number 4, and 4 represents stability. You may also have to deal with another Aries, and this person may be a little stubborn or set in their ways, and since you both have the same Aries energy in you, there might be some clashes or power struggles. Especially if your views are not really aligned, it will be hard for one of you to give up and surrender to the will of the other. This person you're dealing with, probably a fire sign as we said, has very fixed views on how things should be in your relationship, professional or personal. Either way, they want to do things their own way. At the same time, this is a very protective energy. So if you need support of any kind, there will be someone in a position of authority, probably a male, who will come to you and offer their help, their experience and their support. The Emperor is associated with March, which means that events that happened back in March, or something that started then, will get to a stage of completion now. But it's not the final stage, more will follow, more developments, but you will feel that something now is getting more structured and more certain. If there has been uncertainty in any area of your life, you will find that this week things will get more solid and more serious. This may have to do with a document that will be issued, a contract that will be signed, or the authorities in some way. If you want to know how someone feels about you, they feel attracted to you, but they also feel the need to control a situation, to have the upper hand. And since you two are a strong personality, that could cause some power struggles in your relationship. They also feel very protective towards you, they feel responsible for you in some way. Thursday seems to be the strongest day this week, so if you have an important talk or negotiation to make, prefer to make it then. For Taurus, we had the Wheel of Fortune and now the 9 of Swords. The Wheel of Fortune is usually a change, often triggered by life, so you might have felt that you did not have much control over circumstances last week, and there were developments that happened beyond your control, but there must have also been some very lucky opportunities that were offered to you directly or indirectly. With the 9 of Swords this week, whatever change happened the previous days or the previous weeks must be causing you a lot of stress. Perhaps you are thinking to cut someone off, especially if you feel that your communication is hurting you in some way, because swords are associated with communication, with our thoughts, and perhaps your thoughts around a change that happened last week will gravitate towards negative. The 9 of Swords is one of the cards that are considered difficult in tarot, and it does show issues that need to be resolved, especially if you've been in denial about something or you feel that something is too complicated to deal with. However, it's also a card of great understanding and clarity, even if we are dealing with truths that we don't want to admit. If you want to know how someone feels, this person is rather distant at the moment, and they feel that your communication is very hard, that you don't understand each other's needs. The presence of this card shows that the area of communications is where you need to work with a particular person, because that lack of understanding and the poor quality of communication is hurting you both. That's the energy of the Nine of Swords. It's words and communication that hurts, and you may want to put an end to that. Nines do show that you are heading towards an ending. Now, what kind of ending that will be, it's up to you to decide. And again, always remember that communication will help you make or break a relationship. The Nine of Swords is Mars in Gemini, and that means your words and your ability to communicate your thoughts is now very powerful, as is your ability to control and even manipulate through words. However, Mars can be unpredictable, so try to think before you speak to avoid conflict. Between the 1st and the 10th of June, you are going to have a talk that may not be easy or smooth, but it will be very enlightening. For Gemini, we had the Hierophant and now the Page of Swords. The energies of these two cards are very different. The Hierophant represents something that's getting serious and official, a document, a relationship, or it's about connecting to someone who's wise and capable, a guide, a mentor. The Page of Swords is very curious, inquisitive, but he's also very immature, which means that a piece of information may come to you from some source and you will feel the urge to act on that information, to say something, to argue with someone and put them in their position. It will be very spontaneous and impulsive, and the message here is that it's good before you take such an action to cross-check and confirm that what they told you is truth, because there's a high risk here that you will say something you will later regret. Now the Page of Swords is a message bearer, as all pages, and points to communications, which means that if communication has been blocked, now you will receive a message, but again, confirm what this message says is true, and that you don't misunderstand another's intentions, because that's another thing with this page. It often causes misunderstandings, misinterpretations that ultimately lead to fights and arguments. If you want to know how someone feels about you, they are trying to figure things out, they want to get to know you better, and they want to understand where they stand with you. The Page of Swords is inquisitive, he likes to explore, he wants to know and tell the truth, and for that reason at times he can be hurtful. The Page of Swords can be a young person of an air sun or ascendant, and perhaps this week you will deal with such a person, and there will be a discussion, a talk that can be difficult but illuminating. If you are a parent, this page can represent your child, and they will say something to you, or you will tell them something and they won't agree. The advice of the Page of Swords is not to be impulsive, not to take action that will hurt you or another, because you said something without thinking. For Cancer, we had the Four of Cups and now the Ace of Pentacles. The Four of Cups is a stage when nothing much happens. It's a stage that things stand still, and there might be some boredom, some apathy, things that are offered to you but you don't like what's being offered, and you don't feel like exploring other options either. If that was your situation last week, now things are getting different, still a little slow, because the Ace of Pentacles is an Earth card, slow card, but there will be an offer that you won't be able to refuse or to ignore. Someone will offer you something or will give you something, and there will be a new beginning or the opportunity to start something new. This could mean that you are putting a relationship on a new basis, or you are making effort to create something new in a relationship. Since Pentacles point to practical matters, I would expect that your main concern will be to improve the practical aspects of a relationship, how you share with someone, how much time you give them, what kind of plans you have for the future. And in that process, you will be able to make your connection better than before, in ways that will be beneficial for both of you. The Ace of Pentacles is often a financial or professional offer, so someone may come to you with a very interesting offer that will improve your finances, or someone will come to you with a very promising job offer. Whatever is the case, whatever is offered to you this week, please don't reject it without exploring it. The beginning of the week holds the strongest energy, and it's around Monday or Tuesday that we'll experience the energy of this ace the most. If you're wondering about the feelings of someone, the Ace of Pentacles means that they are now open or more open to connecting with you, and since Pentacles are physical, there will be more physical activities, more meetings, and more sex. The Ace of Pentacles shows positive feelings, so that the person you are interested in is feeling content and happy. However, since all pentacles are slow, the message here is that time and effort is needed for this to materialize into a solid relationship. For Leo, we had the Five of Swords and now the Sun. The Five of Swords is a card of arguments and fights, difficult energies, contrasts with other people, energies that are all over the place, and you cannot agree on a course of action. But with the Sun, the energy is changing for the better, because the Sun is success, joy, reconciliation, things that are looking up finally. If you had differences last week, this week you will be able to come to an agreement. And that's also because the Sun makes things look more clear, while the Five of Swords is exactly the opposite: confusion, uncertainty, negative thinking. But with the Sun, the vibe is changing in a big way. That means the feelings of someone are getting more positive too, and they would be more open to connecting with you, to talking to you, if your communication has been blocked, and there will probably be a very pleasant meeting and you will have a great time. There will be very significant developments between June and August, and it's when you will have a very pleasant experience. It could be holidays, as that's associated with the Sun too, or it can be another type of experience that will allow you to connect with another person in a very deep and meaningful way. Also, you may have to deal with children this week, and again your connection will be positive, filled with good vibes, and you will feel very happy and nurtured. Don't forget that the Sun is a life-giving force, and that's why it's associated with pregnancy too, but it's also about things that need to be revived somehow, to be infused with a new life force. So something that was blocked, dead, stopped, under the energy of the Sun, you may decide to give it life again, to give it another chance. Sunday seems to be the special day of this week, so expect that's when the energies of the Sun will culminate. That's why this is a very auspicious time if you want to come out in the open with something, if you want to talk openly about your feelings, for instance, or if you want to resolve a misunderstanding, as the energy of the Sun brightens up everything it touches, and is especially favorable if you want to resolve something that caused confusion. For Virgo, we had the Empress and now the Queen of Wands. All queens are associated with the Empress, it's just that the Empress embodies all the different aspects and traits of the queens. So the message here is that whatever you experienced last week, the same vibe will continue. There must have been some very positive developments, positive energy, something new was born, a new project, a new relationship, or you committed to making effort to strengthen a relationship, to nurture it. Now you will be focusing mostly on taking action, because the Queen of Wands is an active card and she gets things done. As they say in Tarot, the symbolism of the kings is those that make decisions and give orders, but without the queens nothing can materialize. This week you are going to take action on whatever was born last week, the plans you had, the thoughts you had, and you will get things done. In fact, you will be unstoppable this week. You will feel very energized and very active. Also, it's possible that you will have to attend social events, and sexual energies will be strong too, so the temperature will rise in your sexual life. Many things you want to achieve can happen now, and here we have a combination of a passive earth card that shows a strong foundation to build upon, and a fire card that shows you will feel very passionate, and others will mirror you in many ways. So if you want someone to change their behavior, try to change the way you respond to them and see what happens. If you want to know how someone's feeling, their feelings are warm and positive, and they will make moves to show you they care, to show you they like you. It will probably be actions that show you that, not words, as this person seems to prefer to express himself or herself through action and not so much through words. So look at what someone does, not at what someone says. This person can be a fire sign. The Queen of Wands is usually an Aries, but it can also be any fire, sun or ascendant. This week you may decide to give up something that's boring or stuck, as you will now want to pursue things that are exciting. You will only do what makes you feel good, and you will go where energy takes you. There is a 2-week timeline with this Queen, so events that happen this week will continue to develop in the coming 15 days. For Libra, we had the Strength and now the Temperance. The Strength means that you were making effort for something, you were holding on to something or someone, showing patience, discipline, but perhaps you were also holding back your feelings and your thoughts in an attempt to control a situation gently, without force and without pressure. The Temperance is where effort stops and we relax and give it time for things to unfold, so you must have made some efforts last week, and this week you will be waiting to see what kind of results you will be able to produce. The Temperance is there for a moment where things are getting more relaxed, where energies become easier and the tension you experience with the Strength is much weaker. If the situation was more intense than it needed to be, you will now see that things are getting easier this week. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, they must have kept their feelings hidden and they did not show you a lot, but now they will be more open and it will be easier for you to understand how they feel. The exchange between you will be more balanced too and easier. However, you have not seen the end result of this connection yet. There are many stages that you will still experience. And that's basically the message of the Temperance. We need to remain patient and to see how things unfold, but it also gives us the message that if something isn't working, we should not do the same thing over and over expecting a different result. We need to try different ways to respond and react differently and see if that changes the dynamics of a situation. The Temperance has a time frame of about 15 days until we can go from one stage to another. If you're wondering how something will develop, there will be a slowdown, but this will not be bad because it will give you the time and space to think about how you want to react. The Temperance is about blending opposite forces, so even if you disagree with someone, this card shows that there's room for improvement, but you will need patience and time to do that. So it's also about deciding if and how to invest time and energy in something that seems important. For Scorpio, we had the 8 of Wands and now the 10 of Swords. The 8 of Wands must have brought some surprises or unexpected events, fast events, and maybe you could not catch up with the developments and the pace was too fast for you, or something got out of control, took a wrong turn, and now with the 10 of Swords you may have reached a point where it seems like a dead end. You have to change the way you deal with the situation, because it seems to have gone as far as it could go, and maybe you pushed it too much last week and it got to a point where nothing else could happen, and this stage may not be to your liking. You should pay close attention to communications this week. Swords are communications, they are the way that we think, and there seems to be negativity, a difficulty in communications. You may not be able to understand a particular person and a situation may have reached a dead end because of all the wrong things that were said. But now you can see clearly, because the good thing about this energy is that it leaves no room for illusions and you can understand very well what is going on. Also, under this energy, you may feel that someone is betraying you, or there are things happening behind the scenes without you being aware of what exactly is going on. And maybe you are ready to end a relationship with a person, and maybe that's exactly what you should do if you feel that you are not on the same wavelength at all. If you're experiencing stressful thoughts or you are thinking of negative scenarios, from now on there will be improvement, since whatever was to be done has been done and things will soon start to look up. The Ten of Swords is the Sun in Gemini, and the Sun in Gemini is like a chameleon that changes all the time, so you won't be able to trust what you see or what you hear this week, but if you have the ability to adapt quickly to new situations, you will surely benefit from this energy and you will actually get some new doors open and new and supportive people will come into your life. For Sagittarius, we had the Three of Cups and now the Knight of Wands. The Three of Cups is a friendly, easygoing and positive energy, and usually it represents a meeting with friends or people you love, but it also shows that something has started to grow last week. It shows positive vibes and feelings because cups represent emotions. With the Knight of Wands, things are getting faster and there will be more action. Before there were talks, thoughts, planning, but now you are going to take action on those thoughts. The transition from the Three of Cups to the Knight of Wands, for some of you can be a transition from friendship to something more romantic or more sexual. So it's possible that you will have a friend with benefits, or you are starting to see someone with different eyes. You will get closer with that person and you are going to spend more time together. Also, it's possible that you will take a trip, a weekend away, or you will talk and organize a trip. A fire sign or ascendant person will be around you, an Aries, Leo or Sagittarius, someone who can be very charming, exciting and warm, and you will have a great time with them. But at the same time, they can be unpredictable, and that's because Knights are not fully mature. They know what they want, but they don't always choose the right way to get it. If you're wondering how someone feels, you will know that they are attracted to you because they will take action to show you that they like you. However, at times things can be confusing or inconsistent, and that can happen for many reasons. For instance, the relationship has not stabilized yet, or they have not developed a sense of responsibility towards the relationship. In any case, if there are confusing energies, as I said before, it can be a bit friendly, a bit sexual or romantic. In 2 weeks' time, things will get much more stable and much more clear, and you will also know what to do about this. Because you too might have the energy of this night, a bit of instability or excitement, but hesitation at the same time. Give it 15 days and things will get much more clear. For Capricorn, we had the Magician and now the Four of Cups. Very different energies. The Magician is a very active card, shows that someone in your life must have been really active, not always in the right way. Maybe they did something that confused you or they triggered some trust issues, because the Magician often has his own agenda, which may not be clear to you always, and you may feel that they are using you, but that's not necessarily the case. If things got too intense for you last week, this week with the Four of Cups, you will decide to take a back seat, to let things cool down a bit. That's also because the situation must have tired you a bit, must have drained you. Although there are good things, positive aspects in this connection, they may not be clear to you because you are focused on something that you don't like, on an aspect of this situation that you find boring, draining, stagnant, because that's the energy of this card. It's boredom, it's apathy. Try to remain aware of what is going on around you, of what other options are offered to you, and those might be the options that have to do with your relationships or your career, or it could be options that lead to solutions, especially if you feel that you have hit a brick wall with something and you feel that there's no way to change the situation in a way that's more aligned with your purpose and your goals. Try to have an open mind, because there might be certain patterns that keep replaying and that can cause a situation that can feel very draining. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, there is something in your relationship that makes them feel a bit apathetic, so you may need to spice things up a little and make the relationship more exciting. The Four of Cups is Moon in Cancer, so you will feel more emotional this week and you will feel the need to emotionally support others, but you will also feel that you want to get emotional support. Thursday seems to be the strongest day of this week, and key days seems to be between July the 12th and July the 21st, so the energies of this week may culminate around that time. For Aquarius, we had the Hermit and the King of Cups. The King of Cups is a love card, and it gives us the message that this week you will be dealing with a personal relationship or concerns about a relationship. You will also be more open when it comes to sharing your feelings, as the Hermit you got last week shows that you must have felt the need to withdraw, but now the energy is changing. The King of Cups is a male energy, a male in your life, probably a water sign, Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer. He will be a strong presence this week, and cups represent emotions, so we are looking at a romantic partner or a romantic interest or someone who's chasing you. This guy seems to be very connected with his feelings. He knows what he wants in a relationship, he knows how to get it, but his emotions may not be very clear to you. And that's because he is often trying to control his feelings. The King of Cups is a passive card, so don't expect him to take massive action to show you that he likes you. He will show his love, his interest, through emotional expression. For instance, a gesture or a smile. It's mostly subliminal communication, not verbal and not through actions. Also, you may feel very connected to someone energetically, telepathically. You will also feel their presence very strongly, even if you are far away from each other, in a different city or a different country. You will still feel this strong connection. If you want to know how a situation will progress, a deeper emotional connection will be formed, and if you are interested to know how a career or a financial matter will go, it appears that you might need some help, but a little caution, because at times the King of Cups can be someone who's pretending to help you, but they have their own agenda and not good motives. The King of Cups can be manipulative in business, and he can use subconscious manipulative ploys, so don't trust anyone blindly unless you have some reference or you know what you're doing. Since Cups court cards are often helpers, you may find help when you least expect it in a matter that's troubling you, and that could be related to a personal relationship, or it could be a professional situation that will require your attention. For Pisces, we had the Temperance and now the Seven of Pentacles. These cards have a very similar energy, as they are both cards of patience, and they show energies that move very slowly. The Seven of Pentacles represents a situation where the first stages have been completed, and now you have reached a middle stage between the beginning and your end goal that things appear to be completely stalled. That will cause some frustration, some disappointment, not knowing whether you should continue to put time and energy into this situation, since you have not really seen the results you were expecting. And it's true that you have invested too much time and energy, and you are now wondering if it was even worth it. But this week you will see the first signs of manifestation, and although you have not yet reached the end game, there will be some slow developments. That doesn't mean you should not reassess a situation if you have to, but try not to make a final decision yet, especially if it comes to whether you should continue with something or someone or to give it up, since things seem to be unfolding still and there are more stages to be experienced before you see the end result. The Seven of Pentacles is Saturn in Taurus, and Saturn talks about restrictions, so you may feel that your freedom is somehow limited or restricted this week, and that could be because of practical issues you are facing, like money issues or work that does not allow you to move and act freely. But at the same time, this placement will give you seriousness in thinking, practicality, perseverance, and endurance. So that's not a good week to make drastic changes, and it's best that you take things slow and watch the developments. If you want to know how someone feels about you, they want to have a solid and long-lasting connection. Their feelings are stable, they know what they feel, and they know what they want. The end of the week seems to hold the strongest energy, so expect that on Saturday or Sunday something will happen that will probably show you what the next stages will be like. But until then, try to remain patient. So these were the tarot horoscopes over the week of April the 30th to June the 5th. I hope you enjoyed them and I will see you next week. Have a nice and productive week.